Here are a few things to consider when flipping lessons within your classroom. Before you start, you need to determine the lesson content and make sure you've chunked it down into small chunks. Ideally, your videos are going to be short so your students don't get bored when watching them. You want to collect all the materials you need, reference material and poster boards if you're going to do visuals, and perhaps even put together some speaking notes so you know what you're going to do. Probably the first few times you do it, you probably want to do some scripting. I wouldn't script the entire thing, but just some notes so you know where you're going with your conversation. Before you start, continue on, you might consider storyboarding the lesson. That's laying the mapping out the lesson, what it's going to flow, how it's going to flow through the video. Sketch out the visuals and what the flow of those visuals is going to look like. Create any visuals you can ahead of time. I find that drawing and making notes as I go, sometimes it is a distraction and it slows me down in the presentation. The idea is to hold your students, keep their attention, deliver the information as efficiently as possible. Um, Select the video location. Be sure you have a kind of consistent space. I think having a background that is um, neutral or maybe even has some information in the background, or again, if you are doing visual presentations, you want to be sure that they are clearly visible, they're available to see, and that you can work with those um, as you go forward. Consider backlighting. Make sure there's not a big open bright window behind you. And be sure to check the overhead glare. Make sure the lights aren't glaring on you in some way. And also be sure to try to eliminate any background noise. If you're in a busy space, there may be background noise overriding your message to your kids. Consider camera angle. You really don't want the camera shooting up at your face. Not always the most flattering view. I know I've got a big nose, so I don't like to do that. So down is usually better than up. Slightly off angle, a little oblique is better than straight on mugshot type of angle. And you want to be able to make eye contact with your camera. This is incredibly important. This is like looking your students in the eye when you're speaking to them. So eye contact with the camera is very powerful, very important. Be sure you can do that as you present your visuals, and as you speak to your students, you can at least some of the time look your students in the eye by looking the camera in the eye. While you're recording, set up and test your equipment, at least the first few times you do this. Play around with it, get comfortable with setting it up, touching the machinery. Make sure you're okay with that. I would say after you've done it a few times, this is less important, but definitely work at getting comfortable with the equipment and test it beforehand. Um, be aware of your camera range. Know what's going to be in the frame. Know what's not going to be in the frame. How important is it for you to be in the frame? If you're doing a lot of visuals, maybe voiceover on that is fine. You can reach in and point, step into the visuals to open and conclude. But in between times, it's the information you want to share. So think about that as you go forward. Create the best audio you can. There's been a lot of talk about this, and I agree. Audio is important. Test your mic setup. If your audio is poor, get a new mic. They're not outrageously expensive. If you're not getting great audio off of your computer system, maybe get an external mic and see if that helps. Listen for echo and feedback in the room. If you're getting a lot of background noise, maybe hang a banner. Sometimes an overhead banner something overhead might help cut glare as well as echo. Maybe you couldn't put a curtain on the wall behind you or behind your computer, out of camera range, but behind your computer to help minimize some of these audio problems. While you're presenting, remember, you stand and deliver content all the time. You do this in front of your kids constantly. This is not a new thing. It's a new medium, but you're still doing the same kinds of things. Be aware of your camera range. Shoot, that's not the right slide. Make eye contact with the camera. Use normal voice. Be yourself. If you're a little goofy, be a little goofy. This is just like being in the classroom. You're still talking to your kids. You're working with your students. That's what you should be doing, and be comfortable with yourself. Um, if you stumble, I've done that a couple times already. Just regroup and keep on going, just like you do in class. If you stumble over a word, you just pick it up and keep going. If at the end you review your tape and it is too terrible, you can redo it. As you get more sophisticated with the video process, you may choose to edit your videos. You may find a mechanism for editing your videos. That's fine, but remember, we're human, and this is a human process. Um, Again, when you're presenting, chunk your content. Keep your video length approximately 1 to 1.5 minutes per grade level. Keep your content tight and short. Don't go too long because you're going to lose your students' interest along the way. Post-production, I love it. It just sounds so official. We're producing stuff here. Um, have a place to store your videos. Save them to your own media, whether that is your computer, a flash drive, some kind of cloud storage, or an external hard drive. If your video capture mechanism allows you to do this, save your videos to your own media so you've got them stored. Also, you need to have a place to publish your videos so your students can get at them. An Edmodo site or some other kind of learning management system is great for this. A Blackboard, Edmodo, Angel, whatever. If your school offers something, if not, you can go to it. Edmodo it's cheap and almost, I guess it's free for the basic process. Your YouTube channel, I like the YouTube channels. Some people are using the Google sites, Google Plus sites, or if you have your own blog page, that might be a way to go with that. And that pretty much winds it up. If you got any questions, don't hesitate to contact us.